It is exactly 10 a.m. Thank you for being with us here on UBC TV, and welcome to this special broadcast where we are going to be discussing that consecration of the 6th Bishop of the Diocese of Kigezi. Now here we are referring to the Anglican Diocese, which is the Diocese of Kigezi, the oldest, where we see others were carved from. That is the Muhabura Diocese, then North Kigezi, and of course Chinchizi. These were all part of the big diocese initially that has spent over 50 years of existence, because some time back they were celebrating 50 years of this diocese. Now what is happening is on the 29th of May, they'll be having a new bishop, and that is Reverend Canon Gadi Akanjuna will be the 6th bishop of this diocese, and of course he will be taking over retired Bishop George Bagamhunda, who has been in this diocese for some time. Now joining me on set to discuss this are members that is of Kigezi Diocese Kampala chapter. Now they will be giving us more, but this is one of the body that brings together people from Kigezi that are working, are staying, are living in Kampala and some of the areas. And I must commend them. It is a very big force there. I've at least seen them more when it comes to issues of fundraising. And these are people who don't joke as far as giving towards the work of God to develop the area where they come from. And I have two ladies of substance that really are handling this body, that is Jessica Tushemere, who happens to be the Diocese of Kigezi Kampala chapter chairperson. You're most welcome, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, moderator.
And on the extreme end, I have the treasurer of this great unity that brings together people that has really done so much as far as fundraising for this consecration is concerned. I don't know if they have even already surpassed what they need, or they are still requiring more money. Well, but she's here to give us more, and that is Madam Sylvia Alinaitro. You're most welcome to our studios.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Now, to begin with, even before you go to the consecration, let's understand the Diocese of Kigezi Kampala chapter. Now begin with you, Chairperson. What is this? We've heard of it in terms of various fundraising, even from the spiritual bit of it, where we see this is a big force that really contributes greatly.
Yeah, thank you for that question. Yes. Kampala chapter is a fellowship that is of members from the Diocese of Kigezi that live in Kampala, Entebbe, Wakiso, Jinja, and all other parts. So we come together to fellowship, but also to plan for our diocese back home. So we always have fellowships to come have services. When there's a need for fundraising for a particular activity, we come together and raise the funds and take back home to raise our diocese.
Very interesting. Away from home, but still the hearts, the minds at home. And when it comes to giving, which happens to be one of the hardest challenges, you know, Christ asks for only 10%. But you find that that 10% becomes a problem. But I must commend the diocese. Now I go straight to the treasury. Let's look at, this diocese has come out more prominent in terms of giving, this fellowship, in terms of giving. What is that you relied on that has made the Kampala chapter so much? How have you been able to mobilize? Because when it comes to issues of fundraising, and the Kampala chapter is in, you know, things move smoothly. What has been your strength? What have been those pillars that have enabled you when we sometimes talk about 200, 300, and you hear the Kampala diocese, the Kampala chapter, Kigezi diocese, we've covered that.
Thank you, moderator. In giving, we look at people's hearts, really. Giving comes from the heart. And if you have a bit of history of Kigezi, that is a place for revival. Revival. So
now I get that.
It comes from that, that
East African revival, that wave.
Yeah, there has been that passing on the spirit of giving, the spirit of religion, the spirit of oneness. So I think it contributes a lot. So we find ourselves being children, grandchildren of the people who really were at the center of revival. So the unity, the training, the oneness that has gone into these generations tends to focus us into that spirit. It's not that people have a rote, no. It's the heart that they have for the diocese, the heart that they have for other people.
Chairperson, now let's move to the consecration, which is on the 29th of May. One would say very near, one would say still some few times, but first let's understand this diocese. When you talk about the Diocese of Kigezi, we know it's the big diocese, but at least we have about 3 dioceses that have been carved out of it. Briefly, let's understand when we are referring to Kigezi Diocese, this diocese in particular, more of the historical background of it, and also people to understand, yes, as Anglican faith, we all celebrate. This is a bishop, not only for the Diocese of Kigezi, but give us more insight into this.
Yeah, thank you. As Sylvia said, it's the base for the revival. It's where the revival was. It's the chair, the seat. So this diocese was one, but after some time there was need for division because we found out that people needed services closer to them. So other 3 dioceses were carved out, and that is Muhabura, North Kigezi, and Chinchizi. But we are the mother diocese. And yes, we have around 3 districts. There is Ruchiga, and Rwanda, and all of them are in that diocese. But we are, the revival is still there, still growing, and actually we even have fellowships, or what we'd call congregations. We usually invite people around the greater Kigezi to come so that we have that spirit of revival revived.
So I have Abanyachigezi, other people I'm having in studios, if I may say that.
Yes.
Well, very interesting. You know, many people don't know the history of the East African revival. And when you talk about the East African revival, for me, I call it the rebirth of salvation in Uganda. Those that are interested, you can read more regarding that. When the missionaries came here, how the faith had somehow been diluted. And a certain group of people from this area we're talking about said no to demu to zukuke. Some love to call it bazuku for movement. That was bazuku for movement. So it has a great impact when it comes to the Christian faith in Uganda. Now let's move to the actual consecration. Madam Treasurer, how are the preparations? Because 29th May is not very far. So how have you prepared? Also when it comes to issues of money, now that you're the treasurer of this fellowship, how are we standing? Because when in such of these functions, one of the critical things away from the spiritual realm, which the religious leaders will be there and performing, but finances to run this activity, successful celebrations of consecration.
Thank you, moderator. We have prepared ourselves well for this day. We have 2 organizing committees, one in Kampala and one in Kabale. The 2 committees had duties assigned to them and had budgets also assigned to them. Money to be raised by the organizing committee at the Kabale and also from Kampala. I can confidently talk about the Kampala, the organizing committee Kampala, where our chair, Honorable Bahati Minister, has steered us very well, together with the the chairperson of the chapter, Madam Jessica, and we have been having meetings every Thursday at All Saints Church, Cathedral, and we want to thank people from the Diocese of Kigezi who have contributed generously for this function. Not only the people of Diocese of Kigezi Kampala chapter have contributed, but even our friends at our places of work, friends from other dioceses have given us a hand. And we want to appreciate all of them for that spirit of oneness, of support. So Kampala chapter budget, we have already been able to hit it. We have already collected all the money for the items that we were supposed to avail. And I'm happy, and I want to appreciate everybody who has touched their pocket for this cause, and God bless you all. And I know that also at Kabale, they are doing well. All the things are already in place. Right now, I'm sure they have already started, working on the things in the venue and so forth. So we are set for the day. We're only waiting for you to come and join us, and we celebrate together as we see the consecration of our sixth Bishop of Diocese of Kigezi.
Very interesting there. Well, everything is set. It's rare that issues of finances are dealt with. I want to thank the Banyachigezi. Yes, really, thank you for the generosity there. Many times, budgets, it's rare to hear that we've collected what we're supposed to collect. Most of the times, please come, we still need, but to me, actually, at such a time also, really, this is a lot of will and understanding, a spirit of generosity. And I think many other chapters, where they are, they should emulate. Well, we're still looking at the sixth, that is consecration of the Bishop of Kigezi Diocese. And I have members of, that is, Kigezi Diocese Kampala chapter, the chairperson of the chapter and the treasury. Now, let's go back and look at the relevancy of this consecration to the people and why people should come. We have those that are coming from Kampala, very far, of course. And why is it that even in modern day, today, where we see Christianity is under threat, there is so much people that are religious, but they don't practice religion standards, what they say. So what is the relevancy? Why should we, at such a time, away from being that when a bishop is retiring, another one has to come and take over that bit of it? So why is this that relevant?
Yeah, thank you. It's relevant because this is our leader spiritually in the diocese. And when he comes in office, then we know we have someone who is going to lead us. There's religion and then being, spiritual and then being a Christian. So sometimes we mix the two. But I believe that when when he comes in office, then people are looking up to him for spiritual growth. Of course, he will be with other people, that he will work with other priests to develop the spiritual, to grow us spiritually, to guide us. And then other things, because it's not only the spiritual part, but even the social part. Yeah, the unity of the people.
Sylvia rightly said that this is an area where the revival sprang from, the East African revival. Today when we talk about Christianity in this very diocese, the spiritual issues, but how is this performing? We would say, I get phrases of how, when I meet them, that how they greet, Tukutendereza, Yesu, that song. Are we still having that Tukutendereza? Are we still having that salvation, that fire for revival still in this particular part of the country?
Thank you, moderator. What I know about is that spiritually, the people of Kigezi are strong. The people have been preached to. The revival spirit has not died. And we even have a radio called a revival, radio.
Wow.
So I want to believe that we are doing well, and I want to thank the people who have been there before, this bishop, the other bishops who have come before him have done a great job. And the many priests and all the church leaders have done their bit. Of course, we live in a world of so many distractions. There tends to be some distractions here and there, but nonetheless, we are on the right course. Those distractions notwithstanding. And that's why we need a leader to continue keeping us in focus. So the tendency to sometimes go off is there by nature of the world that we live in. But when you have a leader who is focused, we'll try to keep you on the right course. And we have had leaders of that nature, and we know even this one who is coming in will do the same.
Jessica, many times when I see spiritual issues, they're usually dominated by 50, 40 and above, the youth. And one of the major threats to this, I think if I use the word traditional religion, because of that we have what has come in and more like a movement, but the Catholics, the Anglicans, the Muslims, is attracting the youth. You know, that many youth now are moving away from this traditional faith. Even when we look at all these commitments, have not been part of the meetings at Christ the King. But you look at youth participation. We're struggling to attract the youth. Sometimes we've diluted our faith, moving away from some of our basics. Sometimes you wake up and you go to church and you're like, this dancing, this drumming, this is not the revival movement. Then one will tell you, how are you going to hold the youth with you if you don't have this dancing, the worships and the praise? So as we look at, yes, it's a function for the consecration of the bishop, but still speaks to our faith. How best can we have the youth involvement, understanding, and passing on? Today, while we are seeing the Kampala chapter giving greatly, I must thank you people, giving greatly. It's not having this hustle, because a generation before, many of you are children, or maybe but most children of the people that felt, smelled, understood the revival movement. That's why we see that when it comes to giving towards this cause, it's not a hustle. So what are you doing to pass on these very values, to keep these people still stuck in the Anglican faith, to avoid this current migration, I call it spiritual migration, that is really eating much of this traditional faith or religion that we had?
Yeah, thank you. Someone calls it spiritual prostitution. Yes. Actually, if you had not limited my number of guests, I had one of my youth coming.
Wow, I missed that one.
So I would like to say that for the youth in Kampala chapter, we are doing well. We have many on board. We have many that have also contributed. We have many that are willing to go to take a mile and go and preach the gospel. Back home, they are youth in church. We have, as a church, decided to have activity for them. You recognize them as the present and future church. So you allow them to have activities. I believe why some time back they were trying to run away was because they were looked at as young and having everything for the adults to do, and they felt they were redundant. But we have started, fellowships for youth. They go out to schools to preach the gospel to their fellow youth. And you talked about the dancing and the praising. I remember in the Bible when David won the war, he danced and the wife was not happy about it. So unless the dancing is this other one, dancing for the Lord is okay. Unless you're going away from the doctrine, if you're on the right path, we have no problem with your dancing. So we allow them to come, we allow them to participate. They actually, even on synod, they are synod members. Even in church, when we are looking for committees that govern the church, we have youth representatives so that they can tell us what they feel, what they want, so that we accommodate them and have, space for them, so that we can grow them spiritually. To be able to shepherd them, you have to listen to them. Yeah.
Well, very interesting that their views are factored in, and now that promotes retention in the faith. Sylvia, let's go back to the day, the actual event. We've just been in the times of COVID-19, where we know many of the functions, we hear it is virtual, attendance is very limited. For this particular function, what are the modes of attending and how is it going to be carried out? I know being part of this, you could have an idea. Are we going to have virtual celebrations? Is it all welcoming, like we're having for the Martyrs' Day, which seems it's all welcoming and pilgrims are coming in?
Yeah.
So this time around, how is this going to be done?
Okay, the celebration is for everybody. Everybody is invited. We are not restricting anyone. And the venue that has been chosen when at the synod, which sat sometime this year, agreed to gazette, if I can use that word, the playground, big playground for this function, so that people can come and feel free. And also, being an open air, we are able to minimize the risks of spread of COVID, because it's going to be an open area, spacious, with the seating well arranged, spaciously, so that everybody feels free to come, and we minimize even the risk of contracting COVID from there. Of course, people are also encouraged to wear masks for the same reason. So everybody is invited. We want to call upon everyone to come and celebrate with us this very important day. Of course, there will be online, there will be some online sharing of the function, and also live telecast. I know you are coming to cover the function, and people can watch, and maybe other televisions will also be there. But it's very important that people come physically. It's different when you are there physically and watching from a distance. So that is the position, and we look forward to having everybody there.
Well, we're still discussing the consecration of the 6th Bishop of the Diocese of Kigezi. We'll be going for a short break, and when we return, we'll still be discussing more regarding that is the D-Day on the 29th of May, but also still more about that is the Diocese of Kigezi Kampala chapter, which brings together all the Paja Kigezi, or people who are in Kampala and have the heart for the home. And really, indeed, they have done so much on various fronts to develop that is the diocese, but also other areas where fundraising has been needed. We'll return very shortly. Keep it with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Diocese of Kigezi. Diocese of Kigezi will be receiving their 6th Bishop, the Right Reverend God and Mama Charity Akanjona, on 29th of May 2022 at Kigezi High School Primary Lower Grounds. On Friday, 27th May 2022 at 12 p.m., Synod members, canons, all clergy, and nearby Christians will converge at St. Peter's Cathedral to say farewell to Bishop George and Mama Chris Bagamuhunda. On 28th May at 11 a.m., all Christians will meet the Bishop-elect at Rutobo and go to Nyikunama Primary School playground for presentations and entertainment. At 11:30, we'll have a procession to St. Peter's Cathedral Rugarama, which will begin from Mohanga. And at exactly 2:30 p.m., the Bishop-elect will be received at St. Peter's Cathedral. And on Sunday, 29th of May, it will be the day of consecration and enthronement at Kigezi High School Primary Grounds, led by the Archbishop of the province of Uganda, the Most Reverend Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu. God bless you.
Football packages, great entertainment,
Sports, local content, telenovela, the movies.
there is something for everybody.
Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
We also have enough air to,
It is intellectually engaging.
and you can only become a leader when there are problems.
I like that.
The same applies to Rwanda, Burundi. So what are we federating?
Whether rights from another country can be, I mean, somebody must be there to hold everybody accountable.
But at the moment, we would rather deal with what we have, make it right.
First of all, we as elites of Uganda, we have made Museveni the issue. I can tell Museveni is not the problem of Uganda. The problems of Uganda are much deeper. We can change the next 20 presidents and we'll still be this roundabout.
Deeply incisive.
The different political forces that we have in the country, in the country, we don't seem to really have achieved that minimum political consensus over certain things.
Authentically symbolic and insightful. Behind the Headlines, every Wednesday at 10 p.m. with Charles Odongto. All on your public broadcaster, UBC, Inspiring Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that short break. Thank you so much for keeping with us here on UBC TV, this special telecast where we are looking at the consecration of the 6th Bishop of the Diocese of Kigezi. And in case you've just joined us with me in studios, I have the chairperson of the Diocese of Kigezi, Kampala chapter, that is Jessica Tumuherere. Thank you so much. And I also have Dr. Sylvia, that is Alinaitwe, who happens to be the treasurer of the Kampala chapter. Now, we know we are going to have a new bishop, but we've had, that is the now retired Bishop George Bagamuhinda, who has been in this diocese for some time. And we know the synod on the 27th will be bidding him farewell and, of course, appreciation for the works he has done. Briefly, let's look at the outgoing bishop. If you are to discuss achievements, he has been a shepherd for this diocese for some time, where you belong. Brief assessment of his time and tenure.
Yes, thank you, moderator. The outgoing bishop, Bishop George Bagamuhunda, I can describe him as a man who has taken the diocese to a new ground, a new level, for the 8 years that he has served as a bishop. Of course, I appreciate, and we all appreciate, that he took over from great bishops who served before him, who did a lot. So he stood on the shoulders of great men that came before him in this position. But to focus myself on the question at hand, I know he has preached the word because that is cardinal. Preaching the word, preaching the gospel. He has done very well. He has been everywhere in Kigezi and beyond, even overseas, doing this job. He's going very well. We already told you how he even spearheaded the start of Revival Radio. Because when churches were closed during COVID, preaching of the word had to continue, because the Bible tells us that we must preach, word must be preached in season and out of season. So the need came very clearly, and the radio started, and this radio is doing a lot in that area. Everywhere you go, in most places of Kigezi and beyond, you can be preached to using the radio, the programs on the radio. On top of that, he has been key in making sure that the lives of the people change, increasing, household income. He robbed and started a project of Irish potatoes, getting the seedlings, the type which yields a lot. That is the like stable food that we have. So it was very important that he looks into that, so that people are able to get what to eat and also sell and get income. And also making sure that the church becomes self-reliant in terms of money. Because to preach the word, you need money. You need money to move from point A to B. You need money to buy things, equipment, if you're going to start a radio and so forth. So you need money as a church. And a number of projects have been undertaken in that area to make sure that the church, the Diocese of Kigezi in particular, becomes self-reliant in terms of finances. He built a petrol station. We have a nursing hostel that has been done under his leadership. When I say he built, it's not that he did it himself, but under his leadership. He has built a house, a new house for the bishop's residence, a good one. When you are there and you stand in town, you see it and admire it. And a number of other projects that he has done. Family house, commercial building in town, a lot has been done. We have a tourism site in Bwindi. All those have been revived, and I can say confidently that financially the church, the Diocese of Kigezi, is doing quite well. And we look forward to the new bishop starting from there and continuing. And I know all of us will be there to support, including you, Mr. Moderator.
Well, one of the things that really I want to commend him is the fact of ensuring that the church is self-sustaining. Many times when the church depends on Christians alone, I don't have the projects, then it's not that very, but also looking at the livelihoods of the people, like you've said. Irish potatoes, one of the things that is really grown, making money, having the right type. Yes, it's not only about preaching the gospel. These days the church must adjust. Actually, that is why we see that some of the modern faith find challenges, because the church is entirely depending on the sheep. It has no economic activity. So some people even reach a point where they fear going to church because you're going to be drained. You go to a church, bring. Little is spoken about the gospel of revival that you're referring to, or the gospel that transforms the lives of people, which was Christ's main mandate, is to transform, to change the lives of people. While we are still looking at the consecration of the bishop of the Kigezi Diocese, that is the 6th bishop, Reverend Canon Gad Akanjuna, who will be consecrated. That is on the 29th of May. And I have members of the Diocese of Kigezi, Kampala chapter, the treasurer and the chairperson of this chapter. Now, looking back to the chapter, away from the fundraising, where you've done excellent, I must say, let's look at what other projects or work are you involved in as the Kigezi Kampala chapter?
Yeah, thank you. So as the chapter, of course, we have the fellowships, spiritual, we bring in preachers that feed us on the word and continue our spiritual journey. We also have different groups. We grouped ourselves. For example, we have the men ministry, we have the women ministry, we have the youth. You talked about the youth. So here we are looking at the youth, and we really take care and want them, remain with us. So the ministries look at the needs of those different groups and have things that will build them. For example, I'll take about the women ministry. Maybe we need financial literacy. Maybe we need financial support. So they organize fellowships, organize talks, or bring people that can help us grow that. That financial is only one. There are so many. But we cater for all those needs. So I call upon all the people that hail from Kigezi and live in Kampala, Jinja, Wakiso, to come and join this fellowship. They will not regret. And like I said, the youth also have their activities. Some are looking for jobs, some are in school. So there's a way their leaders divide or look at the needs and deal with them appropriately.
How does one join this fellowship? There could be a person from this part of the country watching us this morning and indeed saying, I've missed a lot. I should have been part, I should have been contributing. So how does one become a member of this Kampala chapter fellowship?
So how we did our mobilization is that we started back home. From your church, from your parish, back home, the priests gave us their contacts of people who live this side, and then we got in touch with them. So we came together, and yes. So even now, we still receive more.
Okay.
Yes.
That is very interesting. Well,
because we don't want to break that ties.
Yes.
We want, as much as we have a chapter and we are doing our things, we're also looking at our churches back home. So we want to remain together. We are not a breakaway. We are working together with our churches back home.
Talking about these fellowships, are they weekly, once in a month? And how are they carried on?
So we've been doing three times a year, but we are going to increase on the frequency. But the fellowships of the different groups take their time as they arrange. But the general fellowships where we come to church, invite priests, have Holy Communion, sometimes we even have fellowship. After the service, we go outside and, have something to share as we talk. I also want to tell you that we also follow up on our people. If you have a sick person, we look for priests, we come there, we pray with you. Yes, so it has been happening 3 times a year, but we are going to increase on the frequency as need arises.
Yes. Still understanding that is the Diocese of Kigezi Kampala chapter, but also with the bigger vision of that is the consecration of the 6th Bishop of the Diocese of Kigezi that is due on the 29th. And everybody is invited. That is one good thing. Everyone is invited, though also those that will not be able to attend will have an opportunity watching UBC, that live broadcast, and of course using other avenues. Now, in the interest of time, Dr. Sylvia, let me have your final remarks regarding both the chapter and the actual event, which is the consecration.
Thank you. I want to call upon the public, people who hail from Kigezi, to come and be part of the chapter. The chapter is for everybody. It does not discriminate. You just have an open check to come and be a member and participate in the activities of the chapter. here in Kampala, and then activities that are usually arranged periodically back home. On the consecration, I want to take this opportunity again to thank everybody who has contributed financially, morally, spiritually. You know, people have run around, you know, physically distributing cards, you know, taking announcements in churches. A lot has been done. And I want to thank everybody for their input in this day. Now the day is here, it's for all of us. I want to appeal to everyone to come and be part of this celebration. Come 29th of May 2022, let's all be there in Kabale to receive our new bishop as we bid farewell to the outgoing bishop who has done a good job in us too. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you so much. That is Dr. Sylvia Agnayute, who happens to be the treasurer of Kigezi Diocese Kampala chapter. Your final remarks, Madam Chair.
Thank you for hosting us. Now people are able to know that the activity is taking place, and hopefully they will join us. Yes, I would like to thank, like Dr. Sylvia said, the people that have supported us. People came for meetings, they gave us ideas, gave us money, and like she said, others were running around to make sure the activity goes well. So we all welcome you all, those from Kigezi, those from other dioceses, you are all welcome. Like she said earlier, preparations have started. Even the bushera is being prepared. I understand it's starting tomorrow. So everything will be ready for you. You're welcome. God bless you. God bless you for hosting us.
Well, thank you so much. That is Jessica Shemerire. Thank you so much, the president of this chapter, and of course to fellow Ugandans. This is an open invitation. Wherever you are on the 29th of May, please let's go and witness this great activity in the history of the Diocese of Kigezi as they get their 6th bishop. So wherever you are, make it there. And also for spiritual tourism, you know, go and enjoy those 1 or 2 days you spend. At least the community there, there's some 2 pennies. You'll live in this region and regret, and also you'll get to know more of Uganda and maybe more reasons why you should frequent this place. Have a lovely day. God bless you for God and my country. See you tomorrow.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.